and gentlemen. Welcome to the Seven Figure Fashion Business Podcast,
where we talk about the fashion industry and how to get your fashion business to seven figures.
From manufacturing strategies, cut and sew designers, to fashion hot topics and the latest fashion trends, I'm your host, Monica Monique.
And I'm your host, XYZ. And let's jump into today's episode.
What is up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. You know what? I did not drink, or at least I have not been drinking as much water in the past 2 weeks, and I noticed a difference in my skin.
You what?
I feel like I haven't been drinking as much water in the past 2 weeks as I normally do, and I said I think I noticed a clear difference in my skin.
Yeah.
It's a problem. I just been too lazy to get a whole case of water.
Yeah.
So I'm like having like hot tea and coffee throughout the week, and my skin I feel like is like absolutely not. We don't do this, girl. So I need to get a case of water ASAP. How was your week?
So actually, I've been drinking a lot of water because I had one of my, remember I told you about my fast?
Mm-hmm.
So for 3 days, I fasted. All I could drink was water. So after that, that made me like just appreciate water more, or like just like water more. So I actually been drinking a lot of water.
Yeah, I need to start over with a fast or something, but I definitely need to get a case of water back in my apartment so I'm not tripping.
Would you fast? You would fast?
My whole life is a fast. Every day I fast. I barely eat.
Yeah.
It's honestly ridiculous.
My fast was amazing. I actually learned a lot. Um, I think I'm going to fast once a month to just keep those lessons and those reminders, like the discipline, the appreciation of food. Like you are blessed because you are eating and stuff. So I might do that once a month for 3 days, just fast.
Yeah. Make sure you time it properly too. I was listening to the podcast Diary of a CEO,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a woman on who was talking about the benefits of fasting, but also the timing of fasting. And as a woman, apparently you're not supposed to fast the week before your period
Mm-hmm.
because it can either delay your period or affect your period. So you should be fasting either the week after your period or during your period, I think maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I know she said specifically do not fast the week before your period. So I was like, oh, that's good. I'll take note of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Interesting,
all.
because I had my for my period this month, I didn't have cramps at all.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel one cramp, and that never happens. I get really bad cramps.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting.
Yeah, the healthier you are, they apparently say that you're not supposed to feel dire pain every time your cycle comes on. It's supposed to be relatively easy, and it's not supposed to be 7 days. It's supposed to be more like 3 to 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you work out more, when you eat healthier, when your hormones are balanced, all those things, yeah, you should not have that much pain during your cycle, and it should be shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How was your week?
my work week was good. I'm trying to think. What did I do? The Eagles parade was Friday. What's today? Monday?
Mm-hmm.
The week was cool. I had a couple pickups. I had this gorgeous red dress. I had posted it for like the Valentine's Day post, but that was
Mm-hmm.
actually a woman's birthday gown that she ordered. I think it was her 50th or 60th birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And she was kind of having like a Valentine's themed party. I think her birthday is Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
But she was such a great client. She loved her order. Ideal custom gown client, had no questions for me, paid the price I said, showed up to her fittings, picked it up, fell in love, gave me great reviews,
Mm-hmm.
um, and took some cards so she could share my business information with her friends. Love it.
Love it.
Love it for me. And then the weekend before that was the baby shower dress pickup. I had posted a video of her on my page where she was just like, "Y'all need to order with her. Like, she's best experience." And da da da.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have beautiful ideal clients for the past couple weeks for my custom gowns, and I had a lot of walk-in sales this week. So business wise, it's been pretty good. I want more. I want triple the amount
Yeah.
of sales, but the sales that I did have were the ideal clients. So it was a good week. How was your work week?
Our week at the studio was really good. Um, just it's just good being alone, or like or it's just good being here every single day. I took a break yesterday. Well, I took a break on Sunday because y'all know, like I'm really getting into my Bible, and
Hmm.
I'm still in Genesis. And in Genesis, God really wanted us to rest on the seventh day. So that was
Hmm.
one of my goals for this year, like church every Sunday, and then on Sundays, like just rest, like just give yourself like a mental break. Like, so I've started to apply that. So that was my only day off, and it like felt like so wrong. Like I just wanted to be at the studio. It felt good to like rest, but like I still just wanted to be at the studio every single day. Um,
Hmm.
but when I'm here, it's just like amazing. Like I'm getting work done versus like if I'm just home, I'm doing
Right.
home. Like I'm at home getting home work done or like
Hmm.
chores. So it's like when I'm here, it's just business. It's like escape. Like I'm on an island or something. Like it's really amazing.
I love that. I love that you, and I feel like this is the first full year where you've really been enjoying your studio fully, where you like actually been showing up for yourself in your fashion business every week. So it's really a blessing to see your growth in that area.
Thanks. I feel like it all came down to a space, and then like
Hmm.
not having like when I had my own apartment, like friends would just pop up or be like, "Dang, I'm sewing," and be like, "Oh, I'm about to come over." Like you could just sew, and but it's like, no, you're actually a distraction. And then like when I
Yeah,
was
for
working
sure.
outside of my mom's house, it was like, "Come do these chores," or like like here,
Uh-huh.
like I don't have that. Like it's just work energy, and then the neighbors, they running their business and they're like working too. So
Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
How? Oh, you said you had orders. I was actually talking to somebody about you the other day because you said, I think you said that you had got an order on Facebook Marketplace for one of the corsets, right?
Mhm.
So I was saying to them, because they were complaining about like how they started a new business and they haven't been able to get any sales. And I was like, yeah, it takes a while to get sales. It could take up to
Mhm.
2 years, like to kind of get the hang of having a new business. You don't just decide to become an entrepreneur and then be a millionaire.
Mhm.
Like that's the reason why it's called hard work. It's called hustle. It's called everybody says it's very difficult because it is. It's not easy.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, how many platforms are you trying to sell on? And they were like, oh, only one. And I was like, well, try diversifying. Like, try eBay, try Etsy, try Facebook Marketplace, try because they were saying like they have their website and that's it. But I'm like, nobody knows your website exists because you're not promoting it. But also, if you put your stuff on other websites where people are already at, then more likely for people to find you. Even you could drive sales to your website from those other places. So anyway, I was saying Facebook Marketplace is a thing that I never even thought of putting stuff on, but I have a friend who just made a sale on Facebook Marketplace. So I think it's, beneficial to think outside the box.
Yeah. Um, I'm on everything except for Amazon. Amazon is the
Mm.
goal for 2025. By the end of 2025. But my Poshmark is doing my Poshmark is the one that's doing the numbers.
Really
Poshmark, yes, my Poshmark keeps going viral. Like
interesting.
it'll be chill. It'll be
Hmm.
chill one day. and then one day I'll have like 600 notifications, and it's just a whole bunch of comments. It's a whole bunch of like, would you be able to ship this? And like, just a whole bunch of like, for I don't know why it's going viral at these moments, and then like it'll calm down and then it'll go viral again. But my Poshmark page is actually going right. I wish that Instagram could do something like that. Like they got Facebook Marketplace. I wish it was like an Instagram Marketplace where I could like put all my stuff from like Poshmark on my Instagram. But
Oh my, do you have a lot of things on Poshmark or?
I feel like I have like 15 things on Poshmark. I feel like I wanna keep adding more though. But Poshmark also promotes on Pinterest. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so Pinterest is really good for like fashion designers and like people that's trying to be like inspired. So and then a lot of times people will screenshot like my pictures and send it to me on Instagram like I didn't even know this was you. Or like people would send me like nice messages like, oh good job, like I see you.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, put everything on all the different platforms because everybody shops everywhere.
Right. And I actually, like, speaking of Pinterest, somebody said, like, if you're not on Pinterest, you really need to be, because a lot of people find their inspiration photos, or they go to Pinterest for their inspiration photos. And if your website is one of those inspiration photos that people are always looking at, you're going to end up getting a lot of traction from that. So
Hmm.
you saying Poshmark is linked to Pinterest makes a lot of sense, because a lot of people are going on there for like fashion inspiration, and if they're finding your Poshmark through that,
Yeah,
great.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I love that. All right, we're supposed to talk about Fashion Week.
New York Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
2025.
2025, the January, February fashion weeks. I'm about to look up the numbers, because I did see a post that talked about how many views the different fashion weeks got. And I remember thinking, um, that's just interesting. I don't know if I ever really looked at views, like if this was consistent with how views always are, but I don't believe it was, just because they pointed it out.
Hmm.
Um, Basically, it said that Paris Fashion Week got 3 times the amount of views of New York and London Fashion Week put together.
Hmm.
So this was a post from Business of Fashion. It says, all eyes on Paris. Paris Fashion Week receives more than twice as much attention online as New York's and London's Fashion Weeks combined. It says London Fashion Week got 20.9 million views. New York Fashion Week got 132 million views. Milan Fashion Week, Milan, Italy, got 250 million views. And Paris Fashion Week got 437 million views. So London got the least at 20 million. And New York got the second least at 132. But Paris got 437. I think so. Hold on, let me read the caption from Business Fashion. It says, this season, the status of New York Fashion Week itself was the elephant in the room. It basically says several major names were missing from the schedule. Um, in the midst of creative shifts, like creative directors being switched out or fired, or ending their terms, and brands hiring new creative directors. Maybe they didn't have the collections ready. Um, they opted not to show. And neither did mega brands like Tommy Hilfiger and Ralph Lauren. They also did not show in New York Fashion Week. It says there was also a hole left by the two-time CFDA menswear designer Willie Chaveria, who had emerged as one of the week's hottest tickets. and showed a few weeks ago in Paris. So he did show in Paris, but he did not show in New York. It says New York's perceived lack of consistent anchor brands and a reputation for prioritizing commercial success over creativity has been blamed for dwindling press and buyer attendance. So, while there are plenty of noteworthy shows and designers, including Tory Burch and um, other brands remain committed to showing in New York, the gravitational pull of all the big brands is based in Paris and Milan, and often too great to resist. So, Paris and Milan, Italy, have all the major fashion designer brands showing in their fashion week, and New York doesn't.
Hmm. I
Interesting
think
that they said a lack of consistency for New York anchored brands. But go ahead.
I was saying New York Fashion Week had a decline in like celebrity appearances and like A-list celebrities. Like it'll be like
Mhm.
people you see from Instagram or something, or like it'll be like
Mhm.
regular people at New York Fashion Week, and then it's not really like high end luxury brands at New York Fashion Week. Like it's good, like Ralph Lauren, Marc Jacobs, and stuff. Like they're good brands, but like Hermes and them aren't at New York Fashion Week. So I think it just started to die down because of that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because who feels like going to New York? I love New York. I think New York is great, but it's also a hassle as a city as a whole. Like they introduced all these tolls and
Mm-hmm.
pay stop for New York cab drivers and Uber drivers and drivers in general. So driving through the city is a pain. Taking the train as a foreigner is a pain because the characteristics of the average New Yorker personality
Mm-hmm.
is hit or miss what you're gonna find on the subway.
Mm-hmm.
You got to worry about the cold and the rats and
Mm-hmm.
it, it's just hectic.
Is
I
Paris
think
not
that
hectic?
Paris is probably hectic, but it's not. I believe it's not as the trains in every other country. I believe is better than New York or America. There's not as many psychos. Nobody's getting on the train smelling and yelling and cursing and homeless and guns and no. There's not that type of danger in other countries like American danger. But in addition to how crowded New York City is as a whole, and the introduction of all these different laws and tolls and chaos in the country, I wonder if people don't even really want to come to America.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Like, and then the planes, maybe people just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk. How
Yeah.
did you feel about the shows that you watched? What fashion shows did you see?
I looked at all Paris fashion shows.
Mm.
I felt like they all were like Hermes. Fashion show looked like Hermes. Rick Owens looked like Rick Owens. Like I wasn't like shocked that that's what their collection looked like. Schiaparelli was definitely haute couture, very creative, just all around creative. If somebody makes a brand and they copy what Schiaparelli does, but just make it cheaper and more affordable, they could make a killing. I'm telling
Mm.
you. For New York Fashion Week, well, I only watched the um Paris Fashion Week, but I feel like with New York Fashion Week, like I still enjoy New York Fashion Week because I feel like it's like Telfar and like Laquan Smith, Sergio, like that's where like when you have like a startup business, start a startup fashion brand, it's like New York Fashion Week. is like your area and like it's giving you a chance. So like that's I don't know. Like I'm always happy to see them at New York Fashion Week.
Yeah. I think
What's your opinions on the fashion shows?
so. I loved the shows that I watched. Mostly I picked shows that I wanted to love. But I think Tom Brown was really good, really creative. Doechii, who just won Best Female Rap Album, wore three different Tom Brown looks for that Grammy night. And the whole Tom Brown collection was similar to those looks. Like it was very playful, but also tailored, but also oversized, but also corsets. It was like what I want to see from fashion right now. I want to see more playful things. I want to see more fun. I want to feel more jolly and smile when I look at things.
Uh-huh.
For example, in contrast, the Hermes women's wear collection was not playful to me. It was a lot of browns on brown on brown, like camel
Uh-huh.
on caramel on deep brown.
Yeah.
Like I know they said that brown was this shade of this year, but okay, can you introduce another color? It was
Uh-huh.
too much brown for me. It was too muted for me. Um, but yeah, and I also like the Ellie Saab's collection. It was beautiful gowns, beautiful beading, details. There was a lot of denim or deep blue gowns. I don't know if like the fabrication was actual denim, but the top stitching and details were denim. And beautifully tailored, well put together collection. The New York collection fashion week that I saw was Sergio Hudson. It was nice. It was fine. I loved the coats. I felt like the coats were the star of the show for me. Was not a fan of the sweaters that he had. I think we could have done without. But the
Uh-huh.
coats and the fabrication of the coats were beautiful. Also oversized, but beautiful long trench inspired wool coats and maybe faux fur like some of the coats were in
Uh-huh.
the fabrication details. It was beautiful, but it wasn't it wasn't the best show I ever saw, and it was definitely more ready to wear than creative, fun, like playing with fashion.
Uh-huh.
So, which I felt more of the Paris Fashion Week shows. In addition, Pharrell's show, Pharrell is getting a lot of talk. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm more on the
Uh-huh.
side of love. I think I love it. Like I liked his collection. I
Yeah.
liked it. I felt like the bags were really playful and different. I felt like the color and the designs and the details, even for just the menswear collection alone, I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are hating. I actually think it's really nice, and I would wear the menswear collection on me.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I liked it. That's
Hmm.
why I was like, wait. I feel like I knew Pharrell did it, but I was like, I wanted to make sure, like, wait, is this Pharrell? But
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job. I did see somebody on Thread say, "Oh my God, why is Pharrell? Why did they hire Pharrell? Pharrell ruined Louis Vuitton." But I could disagree. I really like it.
Right. Yeah. I think I like Pharrell. I mean, I doubt that he's the only person designing everything, and I think a lot of fashion brands pull from their past collections to create new collections. Like you're not going to reinvent a sweater or reinvent a button up, but if you have one that is continuously working for you as a menswear designer, sure, remake it in brown or remake it in the color for this year. I don't think
Hmm.
that he's designing every piece from scratch, but a lot of the creative little details that are being added, I love. So yeah.
Hmm.
But as far as the fashion week, I also wanted to read some of the comments because people in the comment section actually said some key points
Hmm.
for their opinion on why New York Fashion Week versus Paris Fashion Week is a hit. Okay,
Hmm.
so one person said it's sad that London Fashion Week is numbers are so low, but at the same time, I hope politicians finally start to pay attention to the decline of the UK. So, like I said, London Fashion Week was the lowest on the list with only 20 million compared to Paris's 437 million. It says, or they said, companies don't feel safe investing in the UK with taxes being so high, and the professional profile of people are leaving London or the UK as a whole because they can't bear the price increases or inflation anymore. So I guess that's something that maybe London is dealing with as well as the US.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else said, "Who killed London Fashion Week? I can't believe London designers are this low in the totem pole."
Oh wow.
Actually, a lot of people in the comments are saying they can't believe London is the lowest rated fashion week. Like
Mm-hmm.
they expect New York to be the lowest, but not
Yeah.
London. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's
Um,
it's it is interesting.
Somebody else said this is it's because New York looks like a joke now. No real designers, just rich folks pretending they are designers while they trained while the trained designers are all in Paris.
Mm.
In- Interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody else said it's because London knows how to put on a real fashion show. Classy, clean, and they host a good event.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably true. They probably are classier. I'm sure they're
Mm-hmm.
cleaner as a city, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, overall, maybe they do put on a better event. Like I imagine it's chaotic in New York during Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's chaotic in Paris too, but maybe they just handle it better.
Yeah. I'm pretty. I know for sure it's chaotic in Paris. That's
Yeah,
why earlier I was like, well, what about Paris? Because I know it probably got to be worse
yeah.
than New York.
Somebody said we can thank Daniel Roseberry for that. His new collections for Schiaparelli really brought people back to Paris. If that's true, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I can see it.
yeah, I could too. And there was this video that I watched. It was like best street fashion in New York and best celebrity fashion for I'm sorry, not best street fashion in New York, best street fashion in Paris, as well as best celebrity street fashion in Paris. And every celebrity they named was wearing Schiaparelli.
Mm.
So obviously they were saying they're affiliating Schiaparelli with the best.
Yeah, they were. For me, they were.
It says the future of fashion is literally in the hands of all the influencers invited. They do live feeds and spread the images throughout the world. Do we really need the press or traditional media to attend Fashion Week anymore when we have influencers?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's interesting because the influencer is almost like the press. If they're all doing live feeds of the fashion show, what do we
Mm-hmm.
need? What do we need E Network there for?
Yeah, I was watching a live feed of AMP. They was at the NBA All Star Week, and they was like just on. They just got on live, and they was like showing what they was doing there. And
Mhm.
I've never watched live feeds. Like I just never thought to, but I just cared about what the celebrity was doing. And
Yeah,
it was just like fun. I was like, it. I don't know. It just seemed like so much fun, and it made me like, oh well, I would want to be a part of this, or like, it made me care about the NBA All Star, like March Madness. Like I really didn't even know what was going on. So
really.
yeah, I think influencers, content creators are the future
Yeah,
media people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Somebody said British-born brands need to come home again, like Vivienne Westwood and Alexander McQueen. I wonder
Okay.
if they did they move to New York? Did they move to Paris? And
Mm-hmm.
most people in the comments are saying this is no surprise. Paris is Paris, and it's always going to be the best of fashion in Paris. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like, who cares about New York or
Wait,
London?
didn't they say Paris was dirty? Because we said New York was
Some
dirty.
people, yeah, yeah.
But
We didn't
didn't they
say New
say?
York, but some people have said when they go to Paris during Fashion Week, they say it's a mess
Mm-hmm.
because it's Fashion Week and everybody from all over the world is there.
Mm.
But on a regular day, is it a mess? In a regular month, is it a mess?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I believe it's probably also expensive and suffering whatever major city suffers
Mm-hmm.
from the same problems of everybody wanting to be in this place. But
Mm-hmm.
majority of the comments are like the best fashion week is always Paris Fashion Week. In the other cities, while they need to catch up, it's also like who cares because we have Paris. I mean, I think me and you just got to go to Paris.
Yeah.
I think that's all I'm hearing is that I need to go to Paris. You need to go to Paris.
Watching these videos, I was like, you know what? I need to be here. Like, I would love this.
Right. I've been to every other place. I went to Milan Fashion Week. What was that? January 2023 for my birthday. I loved Milan. And
Mm-hmm.
that's number two. I think Italy and Milan. So Italy had like what 200 million and Paris had four. Yeah, Italy had 250 million views and Paris had 437. So those were
Mm-hmm.
the top two. And then the bottom two was London and New York. I can see why Milan is number two.
Mm-hmm.
Italy is stunning. The people dress very well. People respect fashion in London and in Paris. I think it's just a gorgeous place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And fashion wise, a lot of the brands are Italian as well as Parisian. So
Mm-hmm.
it all makes sense. I've also
Yeah.
been to London and it reminded me of America. It reminded me of New York. London gave New York vibes with the accent. So
Yeah.
I think overall though, in general, I think New York is probably suffering the same issues as London,
Mm-hmm.
which is the country overall is suffering. So the fashion is following suit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
London is
think it'll
having
get better?
issues with the no.
No.
Mm-mm. I don't think it'll get better before it gets worse. I think it'll get worse. I think this new president um is going to have effects that last a couple years and I don't think it'll improve until we see a change in government.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz I think
Yeah.
the longer we have this president, which I'm really hoping does not last the full 4 years. But I do think inflation is going to get worse. People are going to stop caring about fashion and all of this glitzy glamour stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are going to suffer in ways that they haven't suffered in their lives, more like ways where our grandparents suffered as far as financially, and they're only going to care about what really matters, which is like food on the table, roof over their head, and then just getting by. So I think the fashion industry is going to suffer because nobody is going to have enough money to really care about fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like nobody's gonna have enough money. I've been felt like that a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna have enough money for clothes. I think people gonna just get sweatpants and
Mm-hmm.
t-shirts and jackets and like gloves and like just stuff that's needed. Just clothes that's needed, but like artsy fashion, no.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be even more of an influx in the industry for thrift clothes and
Yeah.
vintage Goodwill type stores. I think there's going to be an influx in businesses like that over
Yeah.
the next 4 years. And I don't think that middle class fashion is going to thrive. I think upper class fashion, for those who can afford paying all this extra money for the look, I think that's going to thrive because the people who have it will still have it and have more of it. And I think the people who have only $1 to $5 to $10 to spend on looks are going to be an influx in that area. And people and items in the middle are either going to go up or down. There's going to be no middle class. It's going to be you're either really poor or you're really rich.
Mm. Okay.
The divide
That's
is
the
going to get
goal.
hard.
I feel like that's the
No.
government's goal. Not our
I
goal.
think,
I'm saying that's the government's goal. Like that's what they want to do.
yeah, but I think the fashion brands that are in the middle are going to suffer.
Mm.
Like you're either going to serve the poor people who are looking for a deal, or you're going to serve the really, really rich people. That's my prediction for the next 4 years.
Well,
Maybe, maybe the next 8, unfortunately.
hopefully not. Please don't.
Unless we can get rid of this president before the 4 year term is up. But if he's in office for 4 years, I believe that the divide is going to get bigger and bigger, and we are going to see effects for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. How can we
Yeah.
get rid of him in the next 4 years?
Huh?
How can we get rid of him in the next 4 years? If you go to jail or something?
Yeah. If he goes to jail, I mean, he already is doing illegal things, but because he has the Congress and the Senate uh, as majority Republican, I believe that no matter if they vote, it'll still end up in his favor because he has more people in the Congress and the Senate on his side than Democrats have on their side.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think he would have to do just really crazy, more ambitious things for Republicans to turn on him. And I think he's going to get close before the year is up.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see every industry kind of suffering in that way.
Yeah, I can see every industry suffering.
You're either going to tailor to the really, really rich people or the really, really poor people. I think Amazon is probably going to suffer. I think delivery services are going to suffer. People are not going to spend extra money for things like that because they're not going to have the extra $5 to get something delivered. They're just going to go pick it up
Yeah.
because they're not going to have the money anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to end on a positive note.
Count, pray, stay prayed up.
Yeah.
That's all we could do is just pray for them.
Yeah. And yeah, our ending quote, stand strong, count your blessings
Count your blessing.
before you count your money.